Manners maketh man. Do you know what that means? Then let me teach you a lesson.
The Kingsman saga is far from over. With a new film on the horizon, the iconic spy organization is ready to thrill audiences once again. But what will this final chapter bring to the table? It looks like Kingsman: The Blue Blood is officially happening, and it's going to be the next big chapter in the Kingsman saga. After a few years of development, Matthew Vaughn's vision for the franchise is starting to take shape. This new film is set to wrap up the story of Harry Hart and Eggsy, bringing their dramatic journey to a close. Originally, it was supposed to come out in 2023, but now we're looking at a different timeline. Vaughn has also hinted that we might see some new faces in the mix, with Dwayne Johnson and Mark Strong possibly joining the cast. It turns out that the delay for Kingsman: The Blue Blood mostly comes down to Taron Egerton's packed schedule. Matthew Vaughn recently chatted with Collider and revealed that they're holding off on starting production because Taron is swamped with other projects. Vaughn mentioned Taron's bloody busy and explained that he's tied up with another movie and a big TV show. So it looks like we'll have to wait until next year before they can begin shooting the next Kingsman installment. Kingsman was a huge hit, pulling in over $400 million and kicking off a whole franchise that even hinted at a potential Kingsman universe. But the follow-ups haven't quite lived up to the original. For example, The Kingsman didn't quite hit the mark. Though it's getting a sequel, The Kingsman: The Golden Circle had its share of issues too. The main problem with The Golden Circle was that it didn't build up to its outrageous moments the way the first film did. Instead of gradually ramping up the craziness, it jumped straight into over-the-top territory. For instance, the villain's introduction with a henchman being ground into a hamburger and then forced to eat it was just too much too soon. Without easing the audience in, everything that followed felt excessive and cartoonish, and the stakes lost their impact. As they move forward with Kingsman 4, it'll be interesting to see if they can recapture that balance and avoid the mistakes of the sequel. Even though the franchise stumbled with Kingsman: The Golden Circle, there's still hope for a strong comeback with Kingsman 4. To get it back on track, the next film should remember what made Kingsman: The Secret Service so great. The first film was a brilliant mix of action and comedy because it built up its outrageous moments gradually and focused on character development. At its heart, it was about Eggsy's journey from feeling out of place to finding his true self. We got to know him well during the early part of the movie, seeing his life and struggles before diving into the high-stakes world of Kingsman. The Golden Circle tried to amp up the crazy fun, but it lost sight of the character-driven storytelling. Eggsy faced a lot of external conflicts, but there wasn't much internal growth or development. The small subplot about his relationship issues didn't do much to engage viewers. By focusing too much on over-the-top action and neglecting the personal stakes, the sequel missed the magic of the original. For Kingsman 4 to really shine, it should recapture that balance of thrilling action and deep character moments. But how can Kingsman 4 return to the franchise's roots? There's a good chance Kingsman 4 can get back to what made the series so awesome if it focuses on Eggsy's character again instead of just cramming in non-stop action. The original film worked because it balanced wild action with Eggsy's personal journey, and even though he grew a lot in the first movie, there's still room for more development, especially given his place in a world built on elitism. The working title, Kingsman: The Blue Blood, hints that the film might dive back into themes like class and lineage, which could really ground the story. Plus, Taron Egerton has mentioned that he hopes the next movie will focus more on the character and less on just saving the world. While details are still pretty thin, these early stages suggest the franchise might be moving in the right direction and learning from the mistakes of the Golden Circle. On the other hand, it looks like Matthew Vaughn is setting up for a big crossover between his two action-packed spy franchises, Argylle and Kingsman. After a few successful Kingsman films, Vaughn's new movie Argylle dives into its own world of espionage, with a similar vibe and flashy style as Kingsman. However, there wasn't any obvious link between the two in the movie itself. But here's the exciting part. Since both films feature secretive spy organizations, it's easy to imagine them existing in the same universe without needing to make major changes. Plus, Vaughn's future plans for both series suggest there's plenty of room for them to connect. The post-credit scene in Argylle even hints that these two worlds might actually overlap, setting up some intriguing possibilities for the future. While Argylle didn't drop any obvious hints about being linked to the Kingsman universe, the mid-credits scene is a huge clue. Set 20 years earlier, it shows a young guy named Aubrey Argylle heading into a pub called the Kingsman. After passing on the secret message to the bartender, he gets a package with a gun and silencer. The scene also teases a follow-up with Argylle Book 1 the movie coming soon. Even though the Kingsman organization is more known for its tailor shops, it's totally believable they'd own other kinds of businesses too. So the pub's name, which ties back to the Kingsman prequel, is a pretty clear hint that there's a connection. While it's not shown that young Argylle is part of the Kingsman, it's clear that the organization has had some influence on him. Matthew Vaughn has big plans for his new interconnected spy universe. Through his production studio, Marv, he's gearing up to expand both the Argylle and Kingsman franchises with a mix of movies and TV shows. Even before Argylle hit theaters, a prequel series was already announced, and Vaughn has mentioned that he's aiming for Argylle to kick off a trilogy of films. It sounds like there's a lot more spy action coming our way. Alongside the growing Argylle and Kingsman franchises, Matthew Vaughn is also cooking up a secret third franchise for his spy universe. Just like the MCU or Legendary's Monsterverse, Vaughn wants this new spy universe to tie all three franchises together. Details about this mysterious third franchise are still unknown, so it'll be interesting to see whether it leans towards the over-the-top action of Kingsman or the more family-friendly vibe of Argylle, though still with its own share of action. While Kingsman: The Secret Service was a huge hit and got a lot of praise for its fresh take on spy tropes, Vaughn's other spy projects haven't quite hit the same high note. Movies like Kingsman: The Golden Circle, The Kingsman, and Argylle didn't fare as well with critics, scoring under 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. However, both Kingsman films did great at the box office, each making over $400 million. Vaughn's grand plans for a big spy cinematic universe really hinge on how his upcoming projects do. Argylle had a hefty budget, around $200 million, though Vaughn suggests it might be a bit less. To set up the trilogy and make the universe idea a reality, Argylle needed to pull in about $300 million at the box office. The success of Argylle and the upcoming Kingsman: The Blue Blood will be crucial for deciding the future of Vaughn's third secret franchise. Well, that's it for today. As the Kingsman saga gears up for its next thrilling chapter, and with intriguing hints of a crossover with Argylle, the spy universe is expanding in exciting ways. Can Kingsman: The Blue Blood capture the magic of the original film, or will it continue the pattern of its mixed sequel reception? And how will the new and mysterious third franchise fit into this intricate web of espionage? Stay tuned for more updates as these stories unfold. What are your hopes for the next installment? Will it bring back the charm of the first film or blaze a new trail? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for all the latest updates on the Kingsman universe and beyond.